Mother, huh? I don't really know what to say about her even now. This is the first time I've read what she wrote, and it's just, well, there's more. Here, read them for yourself.
Oh boy. This is the end, they said. We're almost done, they said.
I am the collective they said.
Who are they? Dear Diary, the good news is, health-wise, I seem to be doing much better this month. I'm sure this isn't a permanent thing. It's happened before. I can't really remember how the doctor from the past explained it anymore, but he said it was pretty normal, and not something to get my hopes up about. Still, some days this month, I actually had enough energy to want to move around. Not that I could move around, of course. I can't leave the house. A good girl shouldn't, is what everyone keeps saying. But I have the energy to, at least, and that's something. The big news is that the woman who's supposed to be my adopted mother came back. I didn't really see her much before she left. I might as well have been meeting a new person. I wish I could say I had high hopes for her. That I had thought that maybe she'd be fine. That'd be a lie, though. I know she'd be bad as the rest of the moment I saw her. And she was. Of course she was. She was even worse than sister-in-law. She gives these awful lectures. I can't even describe them. They're that horrible. She's that horrible.
Sorry.
Moobah.
If you're so worried, why don't you just explain everything to her, simply and rationally? Young-Soo asked me. My response was obvious. She's a woman. We're not particularly rational, he said. You know what I mean. I could hardly do it, but coming from a woman, perhaps she will understand that it's all for her own good? Maybe, I said, doubting it. But I tried anyway. She took her time arriving after I summoned her to my room. Can we speak? I asked her, trying to keep my voice calm. She glared, then snapped. Fine. I asked her to sit down, but she refused. Look, I said, trying to speak to her as an equal. My God, that's such a difficult task. I still didn't think my husband was right, but it was worth trying. I've been told you'd rather be called Hyune. Is that right? She said yes. Bitterly, not giving me much to go off of. That's a very pretty name, I said. Thanks, she said, but her voice was still unfriendly. My parents gave it to me. You must miss them very much. She nodded. I don't understand, Hyune. Were you so difficult with them too? No, she said. They were nice. They actually cared about me. They're nothing like you people. I sighed. I care about you, Hyune. You're part of the family. You're Kim. Your parents are our ancestors, and I know that they think it's very important that we raise you right. If you want to be a bad, unfilial daughter, and treat us without any respect, well, you wouldn't be the first. Do you really think an old woman like me really cares that much about your opinion of me? I thought maybe I'd try appealing to her selfishness. Her marriage is important to the family, but clearly she doesn't care about filiality. It's about you I'm worried about. Do you think any husband is really going to put up with the way you are, even for a second? She kept glaring at me. That's all you keep talking about. Marriage, marriage, marriage. I'm 14. I'm 14 years old. What's wrong with you? Why does everything have to be about some man? Why do you have to marry somebody that you picked? She screamed at me. I remained calm. You're going to be a royal concubine, Hyune. We're not dumping you off on just anyone. There's no better man. I don't know if you were already engaged in the past, but your parents would do the same if they could. It's what's best for you. That they would want this. No, they wouldn't, she shrieked. They wouldn't want me to grow up. They wanted me to be an independent woman. That's what Mom and Dad thought was important. I don't want to be a concubine. I don't care about marriage. Independent woman? They wanted you to be a whore? I asked, my patience run as thin as anyone would be. I didn't believe for a second my husband's ancestors were the monster she was making them out to be, and I was sick of this. Get out, I snapped at her. Just get out. No, this ain't the answer.
All the single ladies?
We now take a 5-minute intermission so that we can play that song for you, audience.
And then get the rest of the stream muted.
We now take a 30-minute break. So.
Are you just showing me that because you want me to see more from her?
Yep.
You're so mean! Oh, well, in that case, there's nothing I can do. She didn't really write about me that much. There's nothing else of hers in here that's really relevant. You've seen it all. Sorry.
This is still highlighted. I'm gonna go back and check the other answer real quick. Oh,
There was... Oh, crap.
that was something different. Sorry.
Yes, it was. My diary makes it sound really dramatic. I know I was young at the time, but it really was. Just read it, exactly how it went.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Young Sock's wife. As high pitched as you can.
No. I don't do high pitch.
Please.
I don't do high pitch, Ugu.
That's perfect.
Dearest mother.
Oh, it's so good. You sound like
Yeah,
I almost can't do it. Oh man.
My mother-in-law has relieved me of any responsibilities for looking after the pale bride. As a matter of pride, I feel bad that a simple child is too much for me to handle. But I'm certainly glad she's not my problem anymore. Now I can put to my undivided attention back where it belongs, onto my husband and his ambitions. Tell me though, Mother, because I know we didn't always get along that well. I was never that bad, was I? Sure, we were both happy when I moved out. Well, perhaps I wasn't happy right away. I was more scared, but I'm sure you were relieved to have some space. But you would have never given up on me, right? I wasn't that bad, was I? Deep down, God damn it, I can't keep a straight face on this shit. Deep down, I worry. My husband seems content to take his time to have children, and which is a decision I can certainly live with. But what about when we do? What if we have a daughter? Will I fail with her too? I've been telling myself that it's not me, it's her. She's a particularly unruly child. It's not ordinarily that bad. It's not, right? Please tell me I have nothing to worry about, please. Sincerely, Pokey's mother.
Oh my gosh.
This is why Moobah is waifu.
You know, I never did like her.
I think mute's rubbing off on you.
You're getting really negative now.
When I woke up, she was just this awful person who kept saying the most awful things. Never as bad as Mother, but still. I didn't read any of her letters when I was alive, of course, but you know what really surprised me? She made such an awful impression on my life. I hated her the most for so long. And she barely even ever mentioned me. All my suffering, it was just a minor distraction to her. Nothing more. Insignificant compared to her man. There's one more from her that you should read. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about her. There's just one thing that I keep thinking, though. Just one thing. I have no idea what her name was.
My name's Pokey's mom, you silly boy.
Young Sock's wife. I don't know what's going on. Oh, crap.
My last name.
Dear Diary, everything managed to spiral out of control so quickly today. I wasn't planning on it happening this way. But here's the point where I make my stand, I guess. It sounds dramatic, but I won't just let them marry me off to some stranger. I won't. I won't let them. Just before dinner yesterday, Mother told me that I had to go do an interview with some man. The Emperor, I guess, for all I care. The way she put it was, I'd get a chance to see that he's a man you could fall in love with, or something stupid like that. As if, I said in response, and I spent the rest of the evening thinking about what I could possibly do to make it clear I wouldn't let them do this. This morning, after breakfast, sister-in-law showed up in my room. "Good morning," she said. "Today's a big day for you, isn't it? Mother-in-law wanted me to help you get dressed and all made up. You want to make a good first impression after all." I glared at her and summoned up all my courage. "No," I said. "What?" she asked. "No, I'm not going." She left, and Mother herself came in. This was it. I told myself this was the big moment. "I'm not going," I said. Before she could say anything, "I'm not going to get dressed up. I'm not going to meet him, and I'm definitely not going to get married," I shouted. For a moment, she said nothing and didn't move. Then she left, too, without saying a word. I thought that would feel good, but it didn't. It just made me worry more. I couldn't have possibly warned that easily, I thought, and I hadn't, of course. After a few minutes, she returned with Father, who looked incredibly angry. "Minjung says you refusing to get ready for your interview," he said. "Yeah," I stammered, not used to talking to him. I won't go, and I won't get married." He walked over in just 2 strides, then glared at me for a second. I had no idea what he was going to do. Then he slapped me in the face so hard that it knocked me over. "Yes, you will," he said. "I'll drag you there kicking and screaming if I have to." My face was in so much pain. I forced myself to sit back up. "I won't," I said, bracing myself for it if he hit me again. He said, "Yes, you will," he said. I couldn't keep this up. It already hurt so much. I couldn't just brave that out. Then it came to me. "If you make me do the interview," I said, "I'll tell the Emperor that you've been conspiring behind his back." It was all I could think of, and all I could do was cross my fingers and hope that the threat worked. It had to. He glared at me, and in that moment, I knew. It worked. The two of them looked at each other, and then they both left together. That was 3 hours ago. I don't know what's going to happen, and I think my face is swollen. It still hurts, and I didn't want that. I didn't want it to go that way. So that's me making my stand.
Getting smacked up.
We know he has one hell of a pimp hand, at least.
I'll get to that, but for now, please, just look at everything else first.
It's weird that they put these responses in when they're all like, "Hey, I don't have a response."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Drastic measures from Heo Ming Chu.
Alright, let's see here. The pale bride picked the worst of all possible days to throw another one of her childish fits, refusing to even get dressed for her interview. And this one was with the Emperor himself. Not even my husband was able to get her to listen. He had to personally apologize himself for not being able to bring her as scheduled, and lied about a sudden illness. "You have to do something about her," I said to my husband that evening. "She's completely out of control." "I know," he said. "That is quite clear." He looked so worried. I hugged him and tried to comfort him. Everything would fall apart if something couldn't be done. She'd be threatened to say something stupid and dangerous to the Emperor, and we were both scared that she might. "Maybe it's time to consider doing something drastic," I said to him. He nodded. "I know," he said. "I can only think of one idea. I do not like it. I would rather not. I'll get the shovel." Even hitting her was far worse than I would have wanted. He explained his idea to me, and I agreed that it was terrible, and I didn't like it either.
God.
Either.
Fuck you people. But it would stop her from...
Either.
Fuck you people. stop her from ruining her own life. My husband was, as always, right. There was only one way.
What did
Either.
you do to poor Hune?
One way
We
to
should just
mess
think of
with
new pronunciations of either or either. Like,
What did you
right.
do to poor Hune?
There's a
Pimp
missing-
slapped the shit out of her.
There's a missing entry, which I feel like it's from that guy, and now we're at peace at last.
yeah, that missing entry is super important.
Yeah.
No! What happened to Hune? Why did
find
she
out.
all of a sudden become mute? Because she's perfectly talking right now, and then later on she finds out that she's not able to talk. What happened?
wonder how
I
that
told you,
happened.
Kira, we got the shovel. Alright, let's see here. Recently, the Pale Bride's temperament has improved immensely. Gino, I will slap your shit, I swear. It isn't simply that she's now quiet, it's that she's actually respectful and calmer. After rescheduling, she had an interview with the Emperor and was actually quite charmed with her. I'm just so happy for her own sake that she's finally stopped resisting the marriage.
Wait,
Perhaps
what
we won't have
happened
to
to the
get the
high
shovel
pitched
after all.
voice?
Do what?
We need the high pitched voice.
That's the
Is this the high-pitched voice character, or is that Young Suck's wife?
Young Sock's wife with high pitch.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he can only do it for one.
Yeah, it's only funny for one character. It's all coming together now. A date has been set for when she'll be sent to live with him, and in the meantime, things at home have been peaceful again for everyone. Actually, it's better than that. I've been spending more time with her, of her own free will. I've been giving her advice for coping with marriage, and now the girl actually listens politely. Otherwise, there is little else to write about. I wish there could have been a better way to get her to behave, but in the end, it seems to be working out. I still can't imagine how awful it would be if she refused to ever leave the home and simply made life hell for us. Or worse, if she got sent off and tried to pull any of that on her husband, she'd get sent back for sure. Maybe now, things will finally start to come together for the family. I must admit, for a time, I doubted the optimism that Jung-soo expressed in the 319th year, but now, it seems that he was right all along. What a relief. The shovel gets to stay in the closet.
Yeah, she just doesn't have a tongue anymore. She couldn't object anymore because she couldn't speak.
Yeah.
Of her own free will. I can't believe she actually said that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. I can't believe she would have possibly thought that. Just unbelievable. Aw, snap.
Well, we're saving before the final boss fight.
I don't know. Anytime I get to the end of like one of these, I just in case.
Young Suck.
That's true. We had a lot of game-breaking
Oh, boy.
bullshit last time.
Yeah.
Dearest mother, today the pale bride has finally left home to live with her new husband. As she isn't the primary wife, there's no fanfare or ceremony for her departure itself. So instead, last night we had a special big feast to commemorate. I know I have said bad things about her before, but it's not just that I was happy to see her gone. She's been better since mother and father-in-law managed to get her to keep quiet. I thought of it, it still leaves me really uncomfortable. She was always just a confused child. I hate the facts that the family considers her so important and neglects my husband, and I certainly hate her for not appreciating that status and fighting it. But the fact that she doesn't understand the world, I feel for that. It's not like I always understand myself. Regardless, it went very well. The big feast was my idea, and she was happy to help with the cooking. Earlier, she had spent the afternoon getting ready the dress she was going to wear when she arrived, and mother-in-law and she seemed rather anxious about it. When we cooked, I opened the wine early and poured it for her. I think she really needed it. I told her the same story I told you a while ago about how I was scared when I first moved in. It seems as though it was a lifetime ago, and despite all the strangeness, I have grown so accustomed to it. You'll eventually grow to love him, I promised, just as you promised me all those years ago. Appreciate how good you'll have it. Sincerely, Pokey's mother.
Did anybody notice like the changes in his accent? He went
Yeah.
from like Pokey's
It
mother
was like
to like
racist Asian for a while to
old Jersey lady, and then like southern like elderly black woman. Like there was just like all of these.
start doing that for like the last 10% of this game is just start reading in all different kinds of accents.
Just be offensive in different ways.
What kind of accents can everyone do and do horribly?
How many cultures can you offend in one?
All of them.
All of them. If you
offend
don't offend all
everyone-
of them, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, if you
About the
offend
only thing I
everyone, then
can
it's
do
a
is like
problem.
really let out the southern. That's about all I'm good for.
You should
I'll
do
tell
that
you
for-
what, there, big boy.
You should do
You've
that for the
read
rest of the
almost
stream.
everything now.
Oh,
Oh, man.
man.
Not great.
You've read almost everything now. I know you've had faith in me, and I promise it hasn't been misplaced. There's just one more thing. I don't think you'll be surprised. You seem smart. I'm sure you've already guessed what it is.
What happened?
Still,
You know the answers.
go ahead.
Tell me them.
Ask it.
Is it time for murder?
Ask me the obvious question.
What did
Why
they
did you
do
kill all
to
those
you?
people? That's a joke. We talked about that like an hour ago, guys.
Ask me the obvious question.
Why did you murder all the people? Where's the shovel gone? I want the shovel back.
Ask her a question.
I thought we went over, like, the whole killing of everyone and just turning off life support.
We need to go over it again. I need the shovel back.
So,
Remember the ones where she wouldn't expand on it earlier? Try going back to that one.
There's music? I didn't know there was music.
Yeah, there is. Peter's hiding it from us like a bastard.
Aww.
no, I
It's probably
can't-
really
I
good
can't give
music.
it to you guys.
You could.
Peter can't give it to us.
I can't give it to you the way you want it.
That's the quote for the night.
Oh, baby, I love it when
He really wants to give it to all three of us.
He can't
Oh,
give us.
baby, I
He
love it when he
just-
talks to me like that.
He just can't perform.
We can't get the breastfeeding that we want.
Well, Peter, I have a little blue pill for you.
Kira just squealed. Oh my gosh.
I feel life complete.
Which one was it? Do you guys remember which one? Was it drastic?
Yeah, I would try drastic measures because that's the one right before the blank. And then hit the-
Drastic measures.
There it is. Yeah.
How did the big fight end? That's what you're asking, right?
Correcto.
Or maybe you're asking, how did it change everything? How is that the most important thing? Maybe you want to know how bad it could have been, that it made me think the whole family deserved to die.
Why are you
Well,
laughing?
if you haven't already guessed, here's my last diary entry.
This chat is just going bananas with what we just said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just Gino, really.
Our friend.
It hurts so good.
That's not helping, Peter.
Peter, please. You're helping us.
Here, please.
Brooklyn said it's after dark.
Just, I can't say it myself.
It's the last diary, I swear.
I can't bring myself to, even now. Please, just read it.
Hey, I'm gonna read it. Stop talking to me.
I'm gonna read it for God's sake. Maybe Peter should read this one if it's actually the last.
You should, because I can't. I literally,
That's true.
I just can't.
You can't even.
I can't even.
She went into like full white girl mode.
Pale bride, what'd you expect? It hurts so good, Brooklyn. It hurts so good.
What is this string?
Okay, odd size. Dear Diary, evening where everything went wrong, where I thought I was going to win with my adopted parents. Well, I didn't. I lost. Making my stand, I wrote, just hours before it happened. Yeah, right. When I got called into the kitchen, they were both there. On one of the stove burners, there was a knife. I thought it was a little odd, but didn't care. Father stared at me and said, "The fighting needs to end now." He was so sure of himself. Of course he was. He had every reason to be. But I stubbornly stood my ground. I said no.
I have a really bad feeling that I was right, and I'm actually now not as happy about that.
Yeah, you made jokes.
I know.
"I do not want to hurt you," he lied. "Just promise to be less argumentative, and this can end peacefully." But I just had to fight back. I just had to say no. I just had to remind him. I wasn't joking. I really will tell the Emperor that you hurt me, and that you plotted against him. "No," he said. "You won't." He motioned at Mother and said, "Bring her over." She grabbed me, and I tried to dig my feet in, but it didn't work. Then Father pinned me against the wall with his whole body, and I kicked and screamed, desperately trying to get free, but it was no use. He was big, and I was small, and sick, and weak and frail. Then he grabbed the knife from the stove, and I shrieked in horror.
God damn it, I was right.
"No!" I screamed. "Don't!" But then Mother grabbed my mouth and held it open. I tried to keep screaming, but I was powerless and terrified. When he raised the knife towards me, I thought he was going to kill me. It was worse. The next thing I knew, I could taste disgusting flesh as he stuck his fingers in my mouth and pulled. "I'm sorry," Mother said. Then briefly I could taste the steel. Then nothing but blood. All I could taste was so much blood. Nothing but blood. Finally, they both let go of me, and I collapsed onto the floor. Why? I wanted to say, but couldn't. I blacked out from the pain after that. But just before I did, I could swear I heard Father say, "You will not ever argue with a man again." He was right, of course.
Fucking right. Oh, God.
I want to get off
Now
Mr.
you
Bell's
feel
ride.
bad. Now you feel shitty.
Now that took a very dark turn. Yes, indeed. That's why. That's why I gave up. That's why I wanted to kill them so much. That's... Sorry. It's really hard to talk about. It's just, I'll try. I'm sorry. I told you it'd make sense, right? There was a good reason?
That's a damn good reason. What country
Please tell me you don't think I've let you down. I haven't? You don't... You mean you understand then? Thank you! Thank you so much! That really means so much to me. I'm so glad. I don't know what I'd do if you didn't think what... Well, thank you! Thank you so much. I was terrified, so terrified. I thought you might not. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and please.
Thank you
Please,
so
thank
much.
you. The end.
Yeah, I was like, is this the end?
Either that, I don't know what triggers next, because there is like an ending sequence. So.
Right. I have really strong feelings for... It's not like I've... Okay.
I'm not clicking. It's going by itself.
It's a really good listener and great... Jeez, I'm in love with you!
Oh, God. God, his husband got there.
Off to Yukon I go,
said
kid.
it
I
to
finally
Moobah.
said it! Oh, this is so embarrassing!
God, you aren't kidding.
You'll find me in 14 years, I'll be in the
I know
Congo.
that's... I mean, really silly, right?
You're kind of an AI and I'm kind of a person.
Shut it, Peter.
Wow,
Make it
being
work, baby.
racist against
Jeez.
robots.
I'm sure I know that you're thinking, right? You think that's ridiculous?
Not at all.
You don't? Oh, that's why. That's why I'm in love, because you manage to happily surprise me every time. I never thought that I could find someone who understands me. Someone who listens, who would hear my whole life story and doesn't hate me. You really have been wonderful. I know. It's a lot to spring on someone just like that. And I don't even know if you're even a man or the sort of woman who wouldn't have a problem with that and still unmarried.
I'm sorry. I just got a text from my girlfriend and said, tell that bitch Hyuna to back off.
Awesome.
That was so good.
Oh my gosh, is she watching the stream? What's her name?
Apparently.
I don't think she has an account yet. So
Oh, she's just
she's
like on
an
Xbox or something?
yeah, she's just watching through the website. That's so good.
Oh, I'm
I'm
glad she
still
wasn't
very
watching
sorry she has
previous
to
night.
experience this.
But
Infinitely sorry.
if you are, do you think we might have a chance together? Even just a chance?
No pressure.
Well, now I can't answer that question anymore.
Go on, Peter.
It's
I'll answer
acting.
for you.
It's acting.
I said yes. I said yes.
No, you said yes. You didn't say
Once you get a
yes.
text from your girlfriend saying she's dumped you.
Oh.
Truly, the
I'm
most
sorry,
amazing
Peter,
thing
but-
I've ever heard in my life. Thank you so much. Why am I thanking you for loving me? I've been sort of thinking about this for a while. A little bit embarrassing, I know, but well, we don't have to rush to get married or anything. I mean, you know how scary it was the last time I was a wife. I just really like to just be with you as an equal. Does that sound right to you?
No.
Of course.
She stutters so freaking much.
I know.
Wonderful. Oh, I really
A
do.
lot for someone.
Really, I really do love you. It's funny, isn't it? I know almost nothing about you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea how you talk. I have no idea of what's supposed to be the most important thing about a person, if you're a man or a woman.
We're a conglomeration of minds.
I have no idea how old you are, although I suppose you must be much younger.
You could say.
Or maybe older, depending on how you look at it. Nor do I have any idea where you're from or even your name. Peter Thomas 6, by the way.
Right.
But I know that you take me seriously, that you understand me, that you don't treat me as something less for just being a woman. I know that talking to you makes me feel better than I've ever felt in my whole life. And that's good enough for me. That's far better than I've ever had. So, very well. I'll decompile myself now. That way, you can just drop the terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. You're gonna download me, right? Right?
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, though.
And I'll
Really?
enable if I want to.
It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon, alright? So this is how my sister-in-law felt on her wedding night.
Does that sound...
Downloading Hyuna. Receiving.
You should
Okay,
download
it's gonna take a
music
couple of
now.
days. We're gonna leave the stream on, running for the entire period. Oh my god, it's really doing
Good God, why? Is there like a times 10 button speed or something?
it.
So now we're going to class Intergalactic Adventures.
Oh,
with
look,
my
that's
Body
you
Pillow
touching
Waifu.
me.
We got credits.
Inappropriately.
Inappropriately. Of course we're doing this inappropriately here. What else would we be doing?
Hooray, guys! We finished it finally.
Wow.
This is something else.
And only
took us
2
2 months.
of the 4 people were massively embarrassed in real life.
Silent protagonist.
Embarrassed? I'm not embarrassed.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh baby, I like it when you talk like that to me.
That's hysterical. Oh yes,
Who is Blueberry?
yeah, she had Blueberry 713.